The formula has infinite depth in its efficacy and application, but it's staggeringly simple and completely consistent. The art is for me to feed you pieces and to make you think you took those pieces because you're smarter and I'm dumber. In every game or con, there is always an opponent, and there is always a victim. The more control the victim thinks he has, the less control he actually has. Gradually, he will hang himself. I, as the opponent, just help him along. Rule number 1 of any game or con: you can only get smarter by playing a smarter opponent. Rule number 2: the more sophisticated the game, the more sophisticated the opponent. If the opponent is very good, he will place his victim in an environment he can control. The bigger the environment, the easier the control. Gradually, the victim will play by the rules he is taught to play by, and he will be controlled by those rules. Toss the dog a bone, find their weakness, give them just a little of what they think they want, so the opponent simply distracts their victim by getting them consumed with their own consumption. However, if this doesn't work, he, the opponent, will smother, humiliate, or ridicule that threat. The bigger the trick and older the trick, the easier it is to pull, based on 2 principles. They think it can't be that old, and it can't be that big for so many people to have fallen for it. The more the victim invests, the less chance they will turn back. Eventually, when the opponent is challenged or questioned, it means the victim's investment and thus his intelligence is questioned. No one can accept that, not even to themselves. This was a quote directly from the movie Revolver, and it's what I want to talk about today. I know it's a little different than what I usually do. Hope it's interesting for you. The movie is basically, to give you a quick plot summary, and there will probably be some spoilers because I'm just going off the top of my head. It's not really a review. The movie is basically about a man named Jake Green, played by Jason Statham, and he is a gambler of sorts. He's been in jail, was put basically in jail, not directly but indirectly, by a guy named Dorothy Macha, who is a mob boss. And when he gets out of jail, actually, let me stop. When he's in jail, he's in solitary, in between 2 booths with these 2 other guys. One was a chess master, one was a con man. And these 2 guys would pass notes to each other about this ultimate con they were conceiving through books that were coming from the library that would be wheeled around. When he got out, they had kind of decided on this perfect con. And when he got out, he used this con that they had created to amass this large amount of money. And he goes on and tries to humiliate the mob boss, Dorothy Macha. And he actually does. He takes quite a bit of money from him and humiliates him. The rest of the movie is basically a struggle. It's an internal struggle with Jake about a lot of different things. And more than that, it gets into psychology, which is what's so enthralling to me about it. I've always been really, really impressed and just always wanted to dig deeper into psychology for some reason. And basically what it talks about is who is the enemy? Who is our ultimate enemy? What is it? And so on and so forth. And there's a quote. Let me pull it up so I get the exact quote. It's actually from Julius Caesar. Where is it? It's right here somewhere. Here we go. I got it here. I know I got it. Okay. It says, the greatest enemy will always be in the last place you ever looked. And it talks about a lot of different things. The movie is definitely too deep, and there's too much to it for me to explain in a 10-minute video. I definitely recommend you watching it. It is, if you guys are younger, it's rated R, and it's pretty vulgar. There's some brief nudity, a lot of language, a little bit of drugs, so just kind of keep that in mind. I don't really like all of that, but the movie itself is pretty good. What it talks about is our ego. That's at least what it focuses mainly on. And for you guys that don't know, there's 3 different sections anyways, if you look at the Freudian view of it. Sigmund Freud kind of coined these terms, and they've been elaborated on by many other psychologists. The id, the ego, and the superego. And the ego is basically fear, pride. It's how you act from day to day mostly. The things you're afraid of them because of your ego. To give you an idea, in the movie, Jake, the main character, is supposedly going to die in 3 days, no matter what. He's got this horrible, debilitating disease. He's going to die in 3 days, no matter what. As he loses money throughout the movie, he still feels pain. Now, why would he? He's going to be dead in 3 days. The money does not matter. He doesn't have anyone else to give it to. There's nothing like that. He's got no family base, no little kid to give his money to or anything. So losing the money when he's going to die anyways, why does that matter? Because in his ego, he has decided that money is something that is important, that he has to have money for people to think that he is this good, strong, whatever, cool person. And that's how it works in our life as well. There's another little thing. In the movie, he's deathly afraid. He's claustrophobic. He's really afraid of elevators, small spaces. He always takes the stairs. Why? There's really no reason to be that afraid of it, and that's how the ego works. The little things, the things that you are afraid to or too scared to, or the things that you just won't do, are the things that ego is kind of controlling and pushing you away from. And the whole movie is basically about breaking away from that ego so that you can actually be who you are. And it's kind of a weird, mind-twisting thing, and it can be taken a lot of different ways, and that's why I'm always really careful when I watch movies like this, to keep my own beliefs and kind of look at it through my own thought patterns, I guess you'd say. And I think you can do that with this. Basically, the main thing of the movie is greed. The main theme, I should say. I think I was saying theme. The main theme is greed, and how that drives the ego. And there's even a quote in the movie that greed is the only snake that can't be charmed. And for a lot of people, that's very, very true. Greed is one of the main things that pushes us. We think that we have to have this much money instead of what we have now, because that will make us happier, or that will make people respect us, or whatever. And it's all just kind of this weird belief that this ego has kind of trapped us in. And that whole thing at the start I was talking about, the opponent, the victim, the opponent is already here. It's within us. And that's kind of where the... Oh, sorry about that. Golly, there's some crazy horn just went off in my in my yard. That kind of broke my train of thought. It's already there. And what's so hard about breaking it is that basically we've acted this way our entire lives, however old you are. For me, it would be 25 years almost. So for me to think, man, this has been wrong, I will basically be saying that for 25 years I've lived wrong. So it's hard. That's what he was talking about, how the people will never question it, even in themselves, because it would mean that they've been wrong, and that's a hard thing to admit. It's really weird, and you have to kind of to really take a lot of time. If you do watch the movie, I think I've watched it probably 7 or 8 times now, and I doubt that I still have grasped it fully. I get it a lot better now than the first couple times I saw it. I don't even really know how to explain it all in just a 10-minute video. But basically what it's saying is that you have to eliminate this ego's control over you to really be who you are and to be free from all this. And I think it is important what it's talking about with money. You hear, no matter what you believe, me being Christian, from the Bible is where most of my beliefs come from. Money is the root of all evil, all these other things like this. It doesn't really matter how much you have or what you make. God will always provide. These are just my beliefs. I'm not really trying to push that on you. This is just, I've got to speak from what I know, and this is my own kind of situation that I know of. So if I do believe all that, then money doesn't matter. So it shouldn't matter to me if I lose this money or that money. As long as I have enough to survive, why does this other matter? And it's all just this, oh, well, I want to dress nicer so that people will think that that I look better? That's what it all comes down to, is how much of this actually matters. How much of it is something that is, it's just your brain telling you you're supposed to be doing this because it's socially acceptable to do this. It's really interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'd love to hear what you guys think. If you even paid attention, it may have been too much. If you see the movie, let me know what you think. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Okay.